Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into a Transfer Tuesday episode of the Pod in the Portal. Curtis Wilkerson and Scottie Bordelon here with you from Natty State Sports Studios in Fayetteville. Scottie, even though the new names and the contacts have been rolling in what feels like by the minute, this really feels to me like the calm before the storm a little bit. Like, we've got some notable things to discuss, but I just get the sense that things are really about to start ramping up. You know, and I'm a bit surprised that it hasn't happened already, but I'm talking, not to be Captain Obvious here, but I'm anticipating Arkansas is going to start landing some dudes here in the very near future.
It would be nice.
Wouldn't it?
I mean, I think, not to put our business out there, but we were walking back to the office today and like almost feel like we need to be reinvigorated.
Yes.
In a way with this portal stuff going on. And you said that, and I'm like, I don't think I could have said it any better. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to say it.
Yes.
But I'm right there and just been profile building basically all afternoon. And, yeah, hopefully something splashes pretty soon. Maybe that water will wake me up.
Yeah, man. It starts wearing on you a little bit. And, you know, it was really exciting in the beginning. It's like, ooh, you know, new guy in the portal. I bet they're going to be all after them. Ooh, new contact. And that's all fine and dandy. But, like, once you get over 50 of them, you're just kind of like, you know.
Yeah,
maybe
we're
just
over 50 now. I think I counted. I could be wrong. I think there was 49, and then I think there were like a couple more maybe. So I think we've hit the 50 mark.
Yeah, yeah. I think for every 50 that Arkansas contacts, they should get at least 2 commitments. At least 2.
I'm good with that.
Give me a couple, and I'm happy to continue rolling and carrying on this list. You can see John Neighbors in the background with his outfit for the Derby, by the way. So if you're listening to this on podcast, you need to go check it out on YouTube. That boy is going to be looking some type of way.
I should just
Saturday.
move my whole camera to just show him out there looking at his fit.
He's greened up, man. He's trying to show it to everybody. That's going to be a look. So hopefully we get some pictures on the tweeter for that one. Man, you know, like of course, we wake up this morning to the coaching carousel spinning again. First of all, a shout out to Louisville for botching their search so bad, like to the point where Richard Pitino is now believed to be a primary target for that job. No disrespect, but like there is no way I believe that's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's all I have.
Do we need to go back to everything that happened with his pops at Louisville? Like there's just no. If you're going to hire Richard, hire Rick.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, man? It just strikes me as like they really, really felt like they had Dusty May until they didn't.
100%.
And boy, you talk about going. I don't. What is further back than square one? Because that seems to be where they're at right now. That's a struggle.
It's ground zero.
Yeah. Yes.
And it feels like they might even be lower at the moment than when Kenny Payne's final game ended.
Yeah. That's crazy. It has been entertaining, though, to see, you know, like people have been ticked off about Arkansas basketball and, you know, venting and everything like that. And there are times where I'm like, man, these folks are driving me crazy. Like, man, it's so negative or whatever. But then you realize, you know, other people have problems too. You listen to some Louisville folks right now, they're not in a good place, man.
Yeah,
they are
for
not.
Sure. I got a question for you. Who has not been linked to the Louisville job?
Me.
I haven't either, so I guess that makes 2.
But
I'll have to ask John if he got a call.
As far as people who know what they're doing, man, I mean, it's been a little bit of everybody. They've been all over the place, from mid-majors to, you know, obviously Jerome Tang was a thing for a while. Who was Scott Drew? They thought they were going to get him. Like it's literally been like pick a Shaheen Holloway now. It's seen also like. They're going coast to coast, man, trying to find somebody to take what's literally it's a top 10 job in the country. I know they stink right now, but Louisville's a heck of a job.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll be anxious to see what they wind up doing. If it's Richard Pitino, wow, that's all I'll really have to say about that. Wow.
No kidding.
Maybe he'll figure it out there. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably feel like they've been left out to dry,
right.
Just with the whole Dusty May deal, and any and everybody's been linked to that job, and God, who knows? They may be one of the last schools to hire somebody.
Yeah, because a lot of those dominoes started to fall after. I think everybody was kind of waiting on May And then he pops for Michigan on Sunday night, and then Monday a bunch of those jobs filled. So I don't know, man. And then naturally, of course, SMU's gone from Muss being its top target allegedly, and then that just disappeared out of nowhere to now it's USC's Andy Enfield, being on the verge of potentially taking that job.
The OG Dunk City.
The OG Dunk City. How fun was that team?
Man.
Florida Gulf Coast. And
yeah, that was a tournament darling if I've ever seen one.
Was that where Andy Enfield peaked?
Maybe.
I mean, he's done okay at USC, but
it might have just been the thought, he may have peaked when he thought about having Isaiah Collier, Bronny, and Boogie Ellis on the same roster.
Yeah, and Iwuchukwu.
Yeah,
the big fella.
Yeah.
I mean,
some guys
kind of had a squad there, and they were. You talk about disappointments, and
just a mess.
Arkansas was certainly one of them, given preseason expectations this season. Miami down there with Jim Larinaga was another one that just did not meet expectations. USC too, man. I mean, they were. A lot of people thought they might challenge Arizona at the top of the Pac-12, and they weren't good. So I was kind of wondering if USC would move on from him, but it sounds like Infield might be interested in moving on from USC. And, one of two jobs I've always had my eye on when it comes to Muss has been USC. I mean, it just has. Given the way the last few weeks have gone, if that job opens up, I fully anticipate that Eric Musselman's name is going to be thrown around like crazy for the USC job. So don't be surprised.
It is, and Einfield to SMU's not even...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people are already trying to connect that dot.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is people who are just they're almost trying to will it into existence.
Absolutely.
That Muss is going to leave. It's any way you can connect a dot to get him out of Fayetteville, which is just, it's crazy, man. I get it. This year has been such a mess, but damn, y'all really soured on him. I don't know. It's just kind of wild to me. But and let me be as clear as I possibly can before this even potentially happens. Unless something changes, and everything's always subject to change, but unless something changes from its current state, I'm sticking with my thought process that Muss ain't going nowhere. That's just where I'm at with it now. People would say, oh, he'd crawl to USC or whatever. I don't know. I'm sure that there's a large part of him that would like to be back out on the West Coast. Fine. We've always kind of known that. There's no guarantee that USC would target him.
Right.
I mean, they got plenty of options out in LA. Plenty of guys who would want to take that job that they'll look at. And I'm not saying Muss isn't qualified for it. He absolutely is. But there's no guarantees there on that front. And, as many jobs as he's allegedly been connected to, he hasn't gotten one yet. So I don't know why this situation would be any different. I think, we'll keep an eye on it if need be, if that thing opens up. But right now the focus is and should be on the transfer portal and building the roster for the Razorbacks. And that's exactly what they're
been busy contacting folks, man.
Yeah, holy crap.
Keeping us busy.
We're going to talk about several guys later. Full disclosure, I mean, it's 4:15 here on Tuesday. We were probably trying to start recording this around just a little after 3 or close to 3:30. And as soon as we're getting ready to go, then it's another run of 3 or 4 guys that they've been in touch with. It's dang, I guess we better update the board. So please do us a favor and go check that out because there's a lot of new stuff on there. Mm-hmm. But, man.
And I'll be adding to it after we finish recording.
Of course. You're going to drop that name a little later? Or is there more to add?
No, it's just I got some player insight on a guy that...
Oh, good.
A guy that I hadn't even mentioned to you yet, but it was...
Okay. Very good.
His face, Marquez Warwick from Northern Kentucky.
Ooh, yeah. Well, we're going to talk about him for sure. That'll be good. I guess we should probably start with the break. I'm going to tease some breaking news.
Okay.
Okay. There's been an Eric Musselman sighting in Fayetteville.
What?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he's still here.
He's still here. We're going to talk about all that. Don't you love a good tease? But before we do, I do want to tell you about our friends over at Signature Bank. Do you like that? Was that a good tease?
Signature Bank is the best bank for your bucks.
They are the best bang for your bucks. I mean, you couldn't say it any better right there. But no, in all seriousness, Signature, it's a privately held boutique bank. It's redefining the banking experience in our region. They blend the warmth and familiarity of a community bank with the sophistication of a commercial bank and the expertise of private banking to deliver unmatched levels of service. If you're looking for reasons to bank with Signature, you can find plenty of them. One thing that really stands out to me is they're so community focused. Strong and stable financial institution, proud to be born and raised in Fayetteville, Arkansas. They tailor our solutions to the unique fabric of every community they serve, and they're truly local, making decisions on behalf of local businesses and their families. They're the ideal bank for customers who value the growth of their community. So make sure you get out and check out one of their Arkansas locations or visit www.signature.bank to learn more. Now we're back to the breaking news. Listen, we're obviously being facetious here, right? But Eric Musselman has been cited in Fayetteville. It's real. With a 6'10" transfer forward by the name of Josh Cohen. And so you guys have probably seen the pic floating around by now. If you haven't, check out my Twitter. Cohen's made it. He's in Fayetteville for his visit. So that happened. That's a good thing. And Muss is there too. And I got to tell you the truth, man. Like I have two thoughts about this, and I'm really excited to hear what you think, particularly about the second one. But one, I'm not going to lie, man. It did my heart some good to see Eric Musselman in the basketball facilities with a recruit with a big smile on his face.
Yeah.
I like to see that, man. I like to see it. Mm-hmm. Made me feel good.
Yeah.
Two, we may have underestimated Josh Cohen's level of swag.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you're right.
I don't know if I go as far as to call it drip, but maybe we should have. His accessory game is might be on point.
Yeah, he's saucy with it.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. He's not a Apple Watch guy. He's an actual watch guy.
Oh, he's a watch. That might be a Rolex.
And he's got he got a little chain action going on, hanging out. I mean, he's the new jersey in him. Mm-hmm. That's just the jersey in him, I think. But yeah, it's one picture, but Muss looked happy. Cohen looked like he was enjoying himself.
Yeah, for sure.
And Cohen's a big fellow, man.
Yeah, he is. He's
he really
tall.
is. And I was telling you today, he's at the baseball game, right? Like this weather's not going to phase him.
Oh, no, it's not.
I told you he's probably going to be out there in a short sleeve T-shirt, just like wonder why everybody's so bundled up.
Exactly. Yeah, he's going to be chilling. I'm sure he's been out at Fenway and everywhere else checking out some games. And so no, man, it's good to see. And Scottie, I know you reached out to some folks who've covered Cohen at his previous stops, and sounds like you got a few pretty noteworthy quotes that you can share on him.
Yeah, for sure. I reached out to the Massachusetts Daily Collegian, so that is the UMass student newspaper. I like to reach out to those kids, just see what I would have killed if somebody would have asked me, when I was in college about a kid that I'd covered before, and just 200-300 words, just give me your insights on a kid. And, Pedro Gray Soares, he's the assistant sports editor there. He got back with me last night. His quote here: Josh Cohen was a joy to cover. He's one of the most genuine and thoughtful interviewees I've talked to. This kid's good. Interviewees is a word.
It's a nice word.
Cohen is a really, really skilled back to the basket big. He can be a lethal low post scorer and a centerpiece of an offense because he's incredibly underrated as a passer. Among the best to get into the line too. And then Pedro said, to me, his most impressive qualities were his ability to use his large frame to skillfully shield off the defender and create space for a shot, and his consistent improvement on the defensive end. And so we've talked about Frank Martin. Like, if you can stay on the floor for Frank Martin, that's probably a good sign that you could stay on the floor for a lot of coaches. Pedro continued and said, Frank Martin criticized Cohen's pick-and-roll defense constantly, but equally praised it as it improved considerably toward the final third of the season.
So he figured it out.
He figured it out.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. That's some pretty... First of all, your man there is a wordsmith. That's a pretty good response right there. Yeah, I'm going to probably steal some of that.
I would expect nothing less from a UMass man.
Yeah, man, that's pretty good. But no, I like to hear that. And you're right, man. Like, getting some insight from people who've covered these guys before, might know them, have talked to them before. Like that's all really beneficial. And you can get more from that in a lot of cases than you can watching, highlights or whatever film you can get your hand on. That stuff's valuable. But
yeah,
No, it's
And
really good. So I
if
like to hear it.
Cohen, like if this thing continues to develop with Cohen towards, maybe a commitment or whatever, there's quite a bit of stuff I didn't use that we could throw into a commit analysis or
Love
commit
that.
story or something. So hopefully we'll see if we get to use it.
Yeah, no doubt. Which, by the way, I don't know if you saw this or not, because I know you were tied up with something late this morning, but we did our Knowing Cohen segment the other day, and before he hopped his flight to Fayetteville, he threw a like on Twitter.
I did see
saw
that.
it.
Yeah.
It made me happy.
Yeah, I saw
And so
that.
I really hope, whenever we get a chance to talk to him, I just kind of want to throw it out there. I'm
Shout
like,
out.
Did you see your name? Did you listen to it? What'd you think about the analysis? So maybe he'll see this.
Yeah, I love that. Shout out to him.
Yeah, man, that was pretty cool. Speaking of some insight that we've got on players, we talked yesterday quite a bit about Hofstra's guard, wing, combo for whatever you want to call him. Darlin Stone DeBar, 6'8", big time shooter. You guys know the drill. If you don't, good Lord, you can probably listen to any episode that we've recorded the last 10 days because we've talked about him a lot. Reported yesterday that a date had not been finalized, but he's intending to visit Arkansas. That's still the case. That visit is going to happen, and he is very much at the top of the priority list for Arkansas. It sounds like you got some insight on him as well. Into some interesting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was really, really insightful, and that's what I'm reach out hoping to get. Dylan Brett, he's a recorder at the Hofstra Chronicle, again, the Hofstra student newspaper, and the kid also doubles as the radio play-by-play voice for Hofstra men's basketball. So he got to see Darlin Stone up close and personal a lot. He said, despite being from Charlotte, he spent last summer on campus here and lost about 20 pounds over the course of the offseason while putting up a couple hundred shots a day. Ended up leading to him becoming one of the most complete players in the conference with a top 100 true shooting percentage in the country. At 6'8", 210, with a smooth outside game, he's for sure got the most NBA-ready archetype we've seen at Hofstra in quite some time. And I think he has a bright future at the high major level.
I love the way that sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way
Arkansas
that sounds.
agrees with that.
Yeah, they definitely do.
A lot of teams.
Hofstra, I know people. A lot of Arkansas fans will think back to that game in North Little Rock, and it's like, yeah, they took down the Hogs, upset, whatever. That's a good program, and Speedy Claxton gets really good players there. They send some dudes to high majors now. I mean, look at what Aaron Estrada has done this year at Alabama. He's been a hell of a pickup for him. Darlin Stone is bigger and brings a lot. He brings a lot of the same traits, honestly, that Estrada does to the table, but he's 4 inches taller. So there's that.
Right.
So I'm excited about the potential there. A couple other guys of note, Malik Dia, we talked about him a lot too. Both of these guys, by the way, they were two of my draft picks yesterday. Mm-hmm. Malik Dia out of Belmont, the big fella who started his career at Vanderbilt, and it has since just blown up. And he had a heck of a year at Belmont, in the portal now. We knew this already, but that contact from Arkansas has been confirmed. I think Tipton put out a list of schools that have been on him earlier today. And I quote tweeted, and I just said, it's my understanding that this has gone beyond just a phone call between Arkansas and Dia. And it has. Arkansas, the coaches have been out to visit him. And so there's a reason why we had him on the list of guys to really keep an eye on, because he's high on the board there. And if you're talking about big men, there's another one. Chattanooga's big man, Sam Alexis, who
love Sam Alexis.
We're both really high on this dude's game. Who, he was productive in limited minutes as a freshman. He really blew up for them last year and had a heck of a season, man. 6'9", 230, big fella. In our weekend wrap-up show that we did, I guess that was Sunday, we identified Big Sam as a priority target for the Razorbacks. Some nice reporting today by On3 confirmed that. Arkansas is one of a handful of schools that he mentioned as recruiting him hard and looking to get him lined up for a visit. So
I like it.
Sign me up for the big fellas, okay?
Yeah.
I was listening to the Portal Report, who they just do a great job on Twitter of just providing a lot of information on who's hitting the portal, who's been in contact with these guys. They've talked to a ton of them, and they've got a really nice database that you can go and kind of filter through and check a bunch of stuff out. They hosted a space last night just talking portal. And so I tuned into that. I was doing a workout, and I found it very interesting that they said there's about 1,300 guys, probably more now, who are in the transfer portal, D1 and D2. D1 and D2. Out of that 1,300, there are 42 who qualify as true centers.
Holy cow.
So my point is, if you can get a
Hard
big,
to find,
you better
man.
do it.
Yeah,
So
no
Dia,
kidding.
Sam Alexis, Cohen, who's, those dudes are coming at a premium. You got to strike when you get the opportunity.
Yeah.
And especially when you're in a situation like Arkansas where,
Yeah, they just need bodies up front. Dude.
yeah, you ain't got a front court.
Yeah.
So you better get on it, man. It's that was startling to hear, because I'm sure out of that 42, like how many of them are, D2 guys?
Right.
Like, so what you might have 20, 25, like at best available,
Yeah.
D1 transfers. And a lot of those guys are low and mid majors who are trying to transfer up. Like it's tough out there for a big man.
That paints a picture of how difficult it is, and how not, fans are just like, hey, just go get a big man.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody's trying to get those 42.
Yes.
Everybody's trying to get them.
Yeah.
And
It's
you
like we
just-
talk
you gotta win a
about
rat race there.
Dia just now, and it's like, oh, like Arkansas's been out to see him. I would imagine there's been upwards of a dozen other schools who've been out and done the same things. Like
100%.
You always feel like Arkansas has more than a puncher's chance with a kid when they're really prioritizing them, like Arkansas is with some of these guys, just given, Muss's track record in the portal. But boy, when it comes to bigs, man, like they're just a priority for everybody. So
For sure.
it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's probably looking at maybe kind of the blueprint that, UConn has used the last couple of years. Like
Yeah.
they had Sonogo and Klingon,
Which is
and
dumb.
then they've got Klingon this
Yeah.
year. Like a high
they gotta-
quality big man is just so hard to come by. But if you've got one, man, like that puts you in contention almost. Like if you got other pieces around them, obviously, but that's a hell of a place to start in the front court.
Crazy. Dude, I really want to see a Klingon versus Edie national championship. That'd be so much fun.
Man,
Just 7-2 on 7-4 and that would be awesome, dude.
I'd be interested to see if Klingon does as good of a job on Edie as Chandler Lawson.
Me too.
Maybe he learned from the experience.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I mean, we thought that yesterday was going to be the flood of portalers. No, man, it's been today.
Today's been
It
crazy.
has been today. And there's some new names that we're going to touch on that entered the portal today that are definitely going to be noteworthy. But also Arkansas has been busy making contacts, man. So I want to run through these contacts, and we can go through them pretty quickly here. Several of which, came, like we said, just a few minutes before we started recording. The most recent is Dayton Alberry out of Queens, which is a D1 program now. You said, Scottie, right before we started, there's been a theme with the guys that they've contacted today, and right here on our ticker, it says the Hogs go guard heavy on new contacts, and
Yeah.
well, it kind of seems like that's the case with like one exception.
You ever watch TV and you get, those advertisements that are like, if you're so and so and so and so, you could be entitled to financial compensation. Like this is if you're 6'2" to 6'4" and 180 to 190 pounds today, you could be eligible for financial compensation from Eric Musselman and the Razorbacks.
You might be eligible for a phone call from Anthony Ruda.
Yeah,
You got-
absolutely. I mean, it's just like I'm looking at the board going from, most recent down 6'2", 6'1". Well, we got a 6'9" in there with your boy. But 6'2", 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". Like, yeah. It's very guard heavy, like you said. But yeah, Alberry, I looked him up right before we started. Shot the three well, but not on not a whole lot of volume there. I believe he was a little bit over 50 attempts.
Okay.
But he could really score. Like he scored, 17 points a game. Pretty good on the glass for a 6'2" kid, almost 6 boards a game. Got his build as Jabril Durham. Had 23 at Duke last December on, I think he was like, I want to say he was, I'm not even going to guess, but he was really efficient on 2-point shots, almost got where he wanted, honestly.
11 of 17 overall, so
Yeah,
that'll
pretty
play.
good. Bahamas native, 33rd nationally in fouls drawn per 40. 20-plus points in 11 games.
There you go.
There's the kid's got some stuff to him.
Yeah, man. The other guy right before we started was Aiden Wright out of Drake, which shout out to Drake. Like, their whole team is searching right now.
Yeah.
Given DeVries is going to West Virginia, this dude might very well follow him there. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw a report a few minutes ago that he told somebody, or he told the reporter that he's, still considering following him.
Yeah, there you go. Nice player, man. And Drake was really good this year. They made the NCAA tournament, fended off Indiana State in the MVC, which was not easy to do. They beat him out 2 out of 3 games. But yeah, 6'1", 185. So he's got a good frame on him, even though he's kind of a smaller guard. 14 points, 2.3 rebounds, 1.9 assists, shot 40% from 3. Cool. I mean,
yeah. I pulled his shot chart up. He was 37% on 43 attempts from the right wing, and then he was smoking from the corners, dude, like 25 of 43 for the year.
Like that.
I mean, that's the most efficient shot in basketball other than a layup, uncontested layup probably. Yeah. So, yeah, he was tearing it up from over there. He as a kid, he played 3 years at Cal State Northridge and then transferred to Drake. At Cal State Northridge, he put 42 on UC Davis. So this kid's he can be a firecracker offensively, I think.
For sure. William Kyle.
The floor is yours.
The Jackrabbit himself. We dropped that hint heavily yesterday because we ain't dummies around here. All right. Arkansas is all over this kid, as they should be. Contact has officially been made. Big dunker, defensive player of the year in the Summit League. If you listened yesterday, you know how I feel about William Kyle, man.
Oh, yeah.
6'9", 230 pounds. Really good player. 13.1 points, 6.6 rebounds. Super, super efficient around the rim. The reason why is because he dunks everything. And you pulled up that stat yesterday. The dude had 88 dunks last year. I haven't fact-checked this, but somebody texted me and told me that was second in the nation behind Zach Edey.
Wow.
Which is nice. His 88 dunks are 11 more than Arkansas had as an entire team last year. Cool. I'm in. What do you want from me? I'm in.
I remember when I was early in my time on the Arkansas beat, there were I guess Mike Anderson had a team full of guys that felt like they just wanted to dunk everything. So I made #dunk everything kind of a thing that year.
Yeah.
This kid would fit.
He's bringing back the hashtag.
I'm going to have to bring it back.
Yeah, man.
Bring back the hashtag.
And, South Dakota State, the Summit League, say what you want about it, but that was, he played on an NCAA tournament team who went and played Iowa State, an Iowa State team that's capable of winning the national championship this year, or at least getting there. No, they're not, because they would play UConn, I think, in the Elite Eight. They're capable of winning one more game.
Yeah.
Iowa State is.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
At any rate, he played against Iowa State in the first round of the tournament, had 14 points and 7 boards in that game, so was effective against those guys. And TJ Otzelberger hasn't played defense down there, so William Kyle, hell of a player. But you hinted at this earlier, Marquez Warwick out of Northern Kentucky, 6'2", 185-pound guard that Arkansas has been in touch with. You got his build as Mardrakus Wade. I love that. I
liked me some Mardrakus Wade, man.
This dude, he scores a lot.
Yep.
You have it here. Northern Kentucky's all-time leading scorer with more than 2,200 points. That is absurd. Looks like another free throw merchant here, which we've grown to appreciate the merchants of the free throws.
That's fine with me, man.
Man, Jalen Tate vibes. Those vibes being because Jalen Tate was a Northern Kentucky guy. So maybe I don't know, must hit your boy up while he's over, killing it. And I don't know. Is he in Europe or is he with the G League now?
Who's that?
Tate.
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, he's hooping somewhere.
I feel like he might be.
He might have to make an international phone call to Warwick and talk him up. But it sounds like you've already got some insight on him.
Yeah, I reached out to Brendan Connolly at the Cincinnati Enquirer. He wrote the story on Marquez Warwick transferring from Northern Kentucky, and I reached out and was like, "Hey man, just kind of the standard pitch." And then I've also done this with Wichita State, since they reached out to another Wichita State kid today. It was like, look, Arkansas's nabbed a kid from the portal who is out of Northern Kentucky before, so I'll always try to keep a close eye on the contacts that Arkansas makes with kids coming from that program. Strengths, high-level scorer at all 3 levels. Excellent spot-up shooter. This is Brendan Connolly telling me this. Excellent spot-up shooter. Patient when getting to the rim, doesn't force the issue. Has gotten a lot smarter and more confident over the last 4 years. And then this is direct. When he broke Northern Kentucky's career scoring record, head coach Darren Horn said his greatest attribute is that he's never overly emotional, never complains to the refs or his coaches, and is never over the top with the celebrations. He just puts his head down and plays the game. Weaknesses are, it can be a little bit turnover prone, and he can create his own shot, but, could improve as a stop and pop guy.
Sweet.
There you go.
I mean, dude, 2,200 points that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah, that's it.
Good on him.
It's insane. I need to look at his shot chart from this year. It was he's interesting because he just he takes a lot of shots from everywhere. Mm-hmm. And you probably have to if you're going to get to 2,200 points in your career. But he's I don't want to say it's Jalen Tate-ish, but we'll show you this shot chart right here. There's not a ton of volume on that right side inside the arc on 2s, but pretty efficient there. That might be where he's best at, kind of that right short corner, and then the elbows he's pretty good. And then he was pushing 50% on non-rim shots in the lane. So
yeah,
not a ton of accuracy from 3. That's really the only thing that is kind of giving me pause. But I think there's a lot to like, and I like a kid that doesn't spend a whole lot of time complaining to officials. So that's pretty good.
Man, no doubt about it. 3 more guys. We'll go through them real quick here. Dante Maddox out of Toledo. There you go again, 6'2", 195-pound guard. Put up good numbers there, and Toledo's usually got a pretty good program. 15.6 points, 4.3 boards, just under 3 assists, 40.2% from 3. He scored about half as many points as our boy Warwick has, but he's been better than 40% three-point shooter for his entire career, which is something that obviously, I get it. Arkansas is going to go back to the whole we got to defend first type of deal. You still got to make some shots, man.
Absolutely.
You still got to identify the shooters and get them in here. Speaking of shooters, Bryce Pope, UC San Diego.
Any relation to Mark Pope?
I don't know, but he's officially my guy.
Okay.
He's just my guy, and I'm going to tell you why. Got a tip from somebody on social media who reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I know this kid." Reached out to him, told me that he's heard from Arkansas, whatever. Kind of gave me some proof of that, and so I was like, "Cool." So I put it out there, and right away, Bryce Pope throws a follow at me on Twitter, which you always like that
for sure.
And so I shot him a message, and I was like, "Hey, man, appreciate the follow. Happy to hear you've heard from Arkansas. Who reached out to you." And he hit me back right away, and he was like, "No problem, my brother. Coach Anthony Reuter reached out to me." I was like, I love this kid, man.
That's great.
Already. 6'3", 185-pound guard at UC San Diego. Putting up some shots, man. 18.3 points. He made 74 threes. His percentages aren't through the roof. But another dude who's just been scoring it for his entire career. 1,600 points is a lot. He's first team All-Big West this year. He had a stretch, a week, where he went for 15 points in back-to-back games against Washington and San Diego State.
Okay.
So some tough competition there. Had 32 on Cal Irvine, so he can erupt on you. Scored in double figures in all but 2 games. So he's an interesting player. And we talk about shooters, man. Colby Rogers out of Wichita State, you mentioned that you've reached out because Arkansas has obviously got that Ricky Council thing going, Trey Wade thing going with Wichita State guys. My advice, and I don't know if you've looked at his shot chart yet, I'm assuming you have, ignore the around the rim stuff because his range is from the arc out. He's the only guy I've ever seen where his range is from the arc out. For whatever reason, he ain't really cooking around the rim, but this is a dude who made 99 three-pointers this season at 40.9%.
Wow.
That's hoisting it, buddy,
That
at a high
sure.
clip, and I love that.
For sure. I've nobody go look at our board right now. I'm kind of a mess in terms of getting people's shot charts up. But Colby Rogers got a flamethrower from the wings, man.
That's crazy talk, dude.
Yeah.
He is he lets it eat.
64, 50% on the left wing on 64 attempts, 42% on the right wing on 69, 38.5% top of the key on 52. And then he's just like he eats from the short corners too, or the baseline areas. Just finish a little better, man. You got to. It sounds like you got a complete scoring game.
Yeah, that's when you're pushing 100 threes made on a season, and you're shooting it like that. Boy, who's the last person to make 100 threes for Arkansas? It's probably Isaiah.
Probably Isaiah Joe.
And he didn't shoot at 40%.
No,
I don't think.
He may have been right there his freshman year.
Freshman year.
His freshman year, his sophomore year, his volume went way up.
That's right.
And the percentage, I think, came down a little bit. But man, yeah, Arkansas hasn't seen that in a good minute, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm pulling up Isaiah Joe's college stats right now because I just want to know. Like, I just want to see what he was knocking down at Arkansas. He was in 2018-19. Yep, he is the last guy who did exactly like that. 113 made threes, 41.4%. And his second year, just shy of that 94 made threes, but yeah, he's went down to 34.2%.
Hey, 34.2% is still pretty good on that volume.
And now he only shot 2 more threes his sophomore year compared to his freshman year, but he also missed several games, so he played in 8 fewer games that year.
Right.
So yeah, he was getting them up there at a pretty good clip.
He had the knee issue for sure. But yeah, Isaiah was shout out Isaiah, dude. That was he's like one of the first kids when I was out of college that I covered who was like good enough to be, like in the running to be on a roster at Arkansas.
Yeah.
And man, just I covered him his sophomore year, and his coach Eric Burnett, I believe, is back up I believe he's in Springdale, in an AD role in the high schools here. He said, Isaiah, you have my blessing. You cross half court, you can see the rim, shoot it. You have my blessing. You have the green light to do so.
I love it.
He did that. He gave that green light to him as a sophomore in high school. It's just unreal.
High praise right there, man. Very cool.
So yeah, going back to Colby Rogers, that would be awesome to cover that kind of sharp shooting again.
Yes. God, please. I mean, they brought guys in who you thought were going to really knock him down this year. Yeah. Just, I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. Some other new entrants that came available on Tuesday to keep an eye out for. Friend of the board, Zeke Mayo.
Yes.
Zeke Mayo, William Kyle. Get the San Diego State, the Jackrabbit platoon. You can go from Jackrabbit to a Razorback.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly probably 2 of the fiercest mascots out there, a Jackrabbit and a Razorback.
I would say so. I would agree with that.
So why not? I think you gotta go for it. Really like Zeke Mayo a lot. He's going to be one of the better point guards on the board. Just such a heady player, impacts the game in a variety of ways. The only thing, Arkansas needs a starting point guard, so they're definitely going to be in on this dude. He's a Lawrence, Kansas guy, and you're getting ready to replace a hell of a point guard there at Kansas. So I'd keep an eye on the Jayhawks too, which kind of stinks, but you never know. I don't know what Kansas's priorities are. I don't talk to Bill Self.
Yeah,
so.
They probably are going to be looking for one though, because I would imagine DeJuan Harris is just like he's been in school for a decade.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's already
moving on.
So Tony Perkins. Speaking of point guards, Tony Perkins. This guy came available right as we were getting ready to start, out of Iowa. Boy, he was good, man. Scored over 14 points per game, averaged just under 5 assists per game in the Big Ten. He's going to be highly, highly coveted. So Arkansas can go ahead and get in line there. Another interesting one is Northern Colorado. Are they churning out the next Dalton Connect here? I don't know if you saw this kid or not. I think you probably did. What a name, by the way, St. Thomas.
That's his whole name?
Yeah.
St. Thomas. How about that?
How about that? Eerily similar numbers to what Dalton Connect produced over there.
Interesting. Okay.
It would make me a little bit upset if this dude went to Tennessee. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
But man, he's a good player.
Connect has opened up the pipeline.
Yeah,
I'm seeing he's like number 22 nationally in defensive rebound percentage and almost 87% at the line.
Yeah, just under 20 points per game, just under 10 rebounds. So he almost had a 20-10 double-double, 4.2 assists on top of all that. Yeah, this dude's pretty good. 6'7", 200 pounds, so he's like the same size also. I didn't realize, and this is crazy to me. So he was at Loyola Chicago for 2 years, did nothing. Goes to Northern Colorado for 1 year, and he becomes one of the best mid-major players in the country.
That's crazy, dude. His point totals are wild on his game log.
Dude, it's nuts. And Dalton Connect, he was at a junior college, and then he goes to Northern Colorado and goes crazy. What is it about that place?
I don't know. Maybe they're just really good at identifying guys.
I guess, man.
At another level. But yeah, this kid, St. Thomas, 27-9 against Colorado tournament team. 11 points, 15 rebounds against Colorado State
tournament team. Who else we got on here? Not a whole lot of other tournament teams on this schedule, but New Mexico State 15-13. I mean, he's just stat sheet stuffer, man. Dude's getting them up. I like it. Okay. Anything else? Any other players that we can think of?
Isaiah McBride. Oh, Isaac McBride.
Yes, thank you. Man, I cannot believe. Wait, what'd you call him? I see what you did there. Yes.
I had to, man.
Isaac McBride, or as Mike Anderson likes to call him, Isaiah.
He's a really nice player.
He is.
We were talking about him on the elevator up here, and I'm just like, I just thought he was done with school. Like, I knew he went to ORU, but he went with Connor Vanover.
Yeah.
Right? Because they were almost, if you want to call it a package deal, that was a package deal probably. I just didn't know he was still around.
Yeah.
But
how's he shooting that thing? He's still got a strap on him?
Let's see. I honestly didn't look into him, Curtis.
I bet he does. Let
me type in Isaac.
Wasn't he originally Kansas?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he was originally, so he went to Vandy. Went to Vandy, and then the last 3 years at Oral Roberts. But yeah, dude, he is a career 40.3% three-point shooter against D1 teams.
Yeah. There we go.
40.1% this year, 40.4 the year before, 43.3 the year before that, 35.8 his freshman year.
So, wow. Okay. And he's played in the
last
SEC
two
before.
seasons, his volume's gone up. He's been over 140 attempts each of the last 2 years.
How tall is he?
He is 6'1". 6'1", 173 is the frame. I was looking through his game logs and stuff. He had 25 points against Kansas State in an overtime loss. If you play Kansas State in an overtime game, you're going to lose.
You lose, yeah.
Had 27 points against Texas A&M.
Dang.
22 against Tulsa. Like, there's just a lot of really nice games in here, and he's a kid that's like he can set the table for your offense, and then you leave him alone, he'll make you pay for it.
Yeah, I haven't put any thought into this yet, and it happened this afternoon, so I haven't reached out to anybody yet. But I wonder if Arkansas kicks the tires on that one.
Why not?
Yeah,
Little Rock kid, man.
Right, Little Rock kid who's been playing in Tulsa. You can split the difference.
I covered his state championship game when he was teammates with Connor Vanover at Baptist Prep in Little Rock. They play, they were down in Hot Springs in a state title game. I think they played Pea Ridge. Shout out to Trent Lloyd and Pea Ridge. But, Isaac McBride and Connor Vanover were a problem in high school, dude. Big time problem. Nobody could stay in front of Isaac McBride.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and start wrapping it up here. For those out there listening, Scottie and I, we're gonna see if we can touch base with Josh Cohen tomorrow before he leaves town. That's the plan. Sometimes that's tricky, but we'll see what we can do. And if so, we'll be excited to share some insight from him as well as what we gather elsewhere from that visit that should be wrapping up sometime tomorrow. Also, yes, just remember this before we get out of here, and this is a great way to end. Major shout out to friend of the program and all-around him candidate, Gus Arginal.
Yeah, man.
Dude. His CSUSB squad is they're going to the Final Four, man. Just beat the hell out of somebody in the Elite Eight. Gannon, I think it was. 30-pieced them in the Elite Eight to advance to the Final Four. That happened this afternoon. I think they're in Evansville. I think that's where that's going down. That is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And honestly, if they made it to the championship game, we might road trip it. We might road trip it.
That would be fun.
Branson, if you're listening, approve it, and we'll go. We'll cover the D2 championship. People around here love Gus, man.
They really do. They really do. They've been in the comments on our YouTube a lot since we started doing this podcast, and yeah, just that's super exciting for Gus, man. He's a winner. He just wins wherever he goes.
He's as good of a dude as he is a coach too, and it just makes me really happy to see him find some success there in year one. And again, like you take over a program that is coming off of a Final Four run, and there are expectations that come with that. And that can be nerve-wracking, man. He just whatever, man. I'll get some of my dudes in here, and we'll just go back. It's fine.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll be able to take it a step or two further. So very cool, man. I'm pumped for Gus.
I will always appreciate that man because he gave you the rec for the Tipsy Pig in San Francisco when we were there.
He did do that. That was a great stop.
That was one of the best meals I've had.
Yes.
And it was so good.
Yeah, that was a fantastic stop.
What a vibe
Good on
out
him.
there.
Yeah. Gus is the man. We appreciate him. And listen, we're Razorbacks around here, but we're all Yotes right now.
Go Yotes.
CSUSB. Let's do it. All right. We're out of here, people. Appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in. Make sure you hop over on the Natty State Sports YouTube. Get subscribed. Do that and get those notifications for any time these episodes come, even though they're coming daily at the moment. Be sure to check out the content over at nattystatesports.com. Do all those things. Also, make sure you get out to Twin Peaks in Rogers on Thursday. We're going to be out there for the John Neighbor Show. That's from 4 to 6. And then we're going to hang out, watch these Sweet 16 games, maybe talk a little bit of transfer portal. Maybe Arkansas's, maybe they get a commitment by then. Maybe the importer strikes by then. Fun. It'd be cool if it happened.
For sure.
All right. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Appreciate it. For Scottie Borderline, Curtis Wilkerson, Natty State Sports, it's been the pod in the portal. We'll catch you guys soon.